today, so bear with me. For the longest time, I had a really hard time celebrating my wins. Hey, Allison! She just taught me how to write copy. She's amazing.
You're amazing.
Thank you. So anyway, I had a really hard time celebrating my wins, and I asked myself, like, why can't I celebrate? Like, what is it? And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because growing up, I heard pride comes before the fall. And that really was dug into me in Sunday school. So if you're like a 5-year-old kid and you hear that, you're like, don't be proud. And so I carried that with me. And then there's also this inner achiever inside of me. She always needs to do the next thing. Like, I'm already writing my 3rd book, by the way, because apparently this needs to have more sisters. So I think about that child who's sitting in Sunday school, or the girl in college who graduates and then it's like, okay, now what's next? And I think she never stopped to say good job. And so when I was writing this book, one of the chapters is celebrate your wins, hence the poster, because I wanted tonight to be the time where I'm celebrating myself, but I also wanted to shine a spotlight on all of you, because I wanted to make sure that we all know to celebrate ourselves and to celebrate our wins, because I know it's hard. I know it's hard to put the spotlight on you. I hate being in front of people and being the center of attention, but here I am doing it very uncomfortably, but I know that I'm loved and supported by all of you, and it means so much. So I'm here tonight to celebrate this achievement. The sister to this achievement. This book was born from my publisher reading my blog, and that right there is my call to you, that if you have an art or something inside of you that's burning that needs to come out, just put it out there. You don't know who's reading. I got this first book deal because of my blog, and I had 100 followers, which I thought was like my mom and my sister, but apparently a publisher was following me. I got this book because she went back to my blog and was reading, and she said, you know what? You have this common theme of encouraging people through hard times. You're shining a light for other people. How do you feel about writing a book about love? And I said, okay. And she's like, let's pull from your blog and come up with 2016's A through Z. So I had to come up with 2016's. X was the hardest letter. And that's examine your thoughts, because it's one of the most important things you need to do, because we are our worst enemies. And again, you know, I think that part of me not wanting to be in front of people is because of fear. Fear tells me that it's proud. Fear tells me that I'm gonna fail. But fear is really good at telling lies, but it's really good at making me believe it. So tonight I'm here to call bullshit on fear and on my belief system from way back when. And I'm here to celebrate the 9-year-old girl who said, I'm gonna be an author someday, because she did it. She knew what she wanted to do. And I'm just really proud of myself and her for just trudging through writing I'm 39, so I've been writing for 30 years, guys, and now I have 2 books. So if you want to do something, I really, really want to encourage you, just put it out there, because you don't know. So I have this chapter called Celebrate Your Wins. I want you to celebrate your wins tonight by sharing something that you've done. It could be big or small, because wins don't have to be I wrote a book. Wins don't have to be, you know, I had a baby, I bought a house. Wins could be I didn't talk mean to myself today. It could be I made a new friend. It could be I went to a conference, and it could be that I showed up here and I supported Emily, because that's a win in my book. So when I wrote this book, it was really hard, because I wrote it, I went up to a cabin in Idlewild. It was like perfect. I had it already. I'm like, babe, I've got this book done. It's so good. And he's like, that's awesome. And then I sent it in. 2 weeks later, they sent it back to me with 70% that needed to be rewritten. And I cried. Ask Nate, it took an entire day to just sob. And the reason why I had to rewrite it was because I had too many personal stories in there. So don't worry, I'm gonna write a memoir someday so you guys can all read those personal stories, because they're awesome. But I had to rewrite the book, basically, 70% of it, and that was not fun. And I had 6 revisions, I'm sorry, and so now it's here. 2 And I'm here to celebrate that, and I wanted to let you know that there's 4 things that I think are really important about celebrating your win. And one is that we deserve to recognize our worth by placing value on our accomplishments. For too long, I wasn't placing value on my accomplishments. I didn't feel worthy of the attention, of the praise. So tonight, it is an act of self-love to say you are worthy. You made this happen. This was really hard work, and you should celebrate it. Also, it's okay to stop achieving for a minute and breathe and enjoy. Like, we have to, well, we don't, I do have to be very appreciative of my husband, because there's been a lot of moments where he's been pushed to the side because I'm so busy. And I know that it got me here, but I'm just really grateful to you for sticking through this process. And celebrating is fun, and it's also an act of self-love. So I'm having fun. I get to see all my favorite people here, and I get to have some self-love and also encourage you to do some self-love. And finally, there's something to celebrate every day. So even tomorrow, after the book is born, I'm going to have to celebrate something, and I'm excited to see what that is. So I want to close this with a quote. You cannot quote song lyrics in books unless you want to go through the permission thing, and I don't want to deal with that. But this is a quote I wanted in this book, and this is a song that I listened to a lot during this process, and it's from a fellow Virgo, and goddess, and boss babe, Queen Bee. So this is what tonight feels like for me. I want to leave my footprints on the sands of time. Know there was something that and something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I leave no regrets, leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here. Thank you for coming out tonight. Cheers to all of you.